For me, as a head teacher, you want to raise the standards. The school just had inspection, you got action points to work on. So therefore, it's that raising standard, but in this kind of through a kind of a school ethos, which is underpinned by the core values. And I think it's that because we are a school focusing on developing the whole child. Although we think academic achievements is important, but in the end it is about developing the whole child, help them to form their character, develop these personal qualities. But with this program, it's very comprehensive. And I thought, we have children from different backgrounds. This one seems more comprehensive, and also with lesson plans provided, yes. and again supported by all the music, songs, so it's really, really well structured.
The values program is something that's really invaluable for them. To get that set in place so early on is only going to set them up for life, in my opinion.
There's a value that's adopted each term, and the newsletter tells us what that value is, how it's being used in the school that week, and what the impacts are for pupils. And then last year, the head teacher actually ran a full evening about the Human Values programme, in which she explored with parents what the programme was and gave them techniques that they could use at home with children. I think it's had a huge impact on the school. So I think we're seeing very, very strong behaviours from our pupils. So when people walk into the building, they talk about the warmth that they instantly feel. They talk about how polite and tolerant our pupils are, how they kind of respect each other's opinions and listen out for each other. And then for us as governors, when we attend key events for the school, we really see the values in action. So things like a sports day, we see a healthy level of competition, but on the whole, we really see children supporting each other and cheering each other on, and a really supportive environment. And similarly, whenever there are school plays or concerts or things like that, we see an environment in which every child participates, every child is valued, and it's a really positive, supportive environment because of how the values are being used.
And I always feel when I come into the school as a parent, it's a very welcoming environment. The children are always very polite. They're respectful to the adults around them and to each other. And I've come in and helped with school quite a lot. And I can only ever see sort of positive examples of their behaviour and the kindness to each other as well. So I feel that's got to be coming from this programme, hasn't it?
So what did they have to do to improve their skills? What did they have to do?
They had to try lots of different things.
What do we call that?
They never gave up.
They never gave up. They never gave up. It's like what we have up there. They never gave up.
I like the fact that in school, actually, the values education is at the centre of everything that Miss Sellerton makes us do for the children. So actually, it's very, very, very central. Our assemblies are all based on values education. The class PSHE is all based on values education. So I think the outcome is they know that talking is good. They know that we can clear problems up. They know that we think the children are the most important parts. Well, I asked them earlier on what they thought the importance of values education was, and one of them said, to help me with the rest of my life.
Because you can see it all across the school, in the displays, in children's language, how they talk to each other, how they relate to each other. This kind of approach guarantees that the teachers are happy and the children are happy. I have been a teacher for like 22 years. In two different systems, two different phases, secondary, primary, Polish, English. And I know that from my professional experience that happy children learn much more and they achieve much higher results than children who are not that happy. So here, the children are happy, the children are proactive, the children are independent, they take the ownership of their own learning. This is the 5 values being put in place, and the proof that the children are living them.
I've got a quote on the board, put your hand up if you'd like to read our quote for us. Thank you, Holly.
The best things in life are free, so take care of them.
The best things in life are free, so take care of them. Can you think of anything that you would class as one of the best things in life?
I think the education in human values is very important for our school because it creates a spine on which we attach all of our positive discipline, on all of our responses to the children when difficult situations occur. And it allows us to fall back on those 5 core values within the scheme and to use those to direct our responses to the children and to also enable the children to think for themselves about what the right response might be to different situations.
They set an example to us because they're pretty much telling you how you should act in life. It helps me do the right thing and be patient and to love your family.
I think the children are very aware of the different values and also how to relate those to their daily lives. I think that's very, very important, that they can draw on experiences on the playground, both positive and negative, and link those into the values and things that they have been taught within the classroom. It's very important and it's very good when you hear the children come in and something has happened on the playground and they then relate to the Education Values programme, and they will then say to you, that relates to our value of truth, that relates to our value of love, or right conduct is also the one that they find really, really important, because for children that concept of right conduct, what is the right thing to do, making the right choice, is a challenge for them every day in so many different situations. And actually to have that label attached to what is the right conduct is very, very important for the children, and they do refer to it. And the ability for the children to reflect on the right conduct as they go through school also increases. You know, when they are in years 1 and 2, right conduct is very much, am I following the school rules? You know, am I doing what the teacher wants me to do? You know, when they move through the school, that idea of right conduct coming from within, and that then extends into their lives outside the classroom, which again I think is very, very important.
So even when they're outside of the school gates, we do see them, you know, working together in a very positive, affirmative, supportive manner. Yeah, and I think that happens wherever they go. But also I have a younger child that actually has Down syndrome, and I think actually the focus on values has really helped Amelie to manage that situation, respond to that situation, and see it in a very, very positive light. So the school did a lot of work on tolerance, yeah, and she really has embraced that and has, you know, completely accepted my son and expects other people to accept him as well. And we now have a lot of interactions with other children with additional needs, and she is extremely inclusive and supportive of them. So I think the values have helped in that circumstance also.
2 children in my class, one was being unkind to another one. Another girl heard and said, that is not being truthful, and that is not being kind, and that is not being, what did she say, that is being violent with your words. I would like you to be kind.
Beach. Littered, abandoned, misty sea, where children once played.
Within the classroom, I think it does, I think the values education links very closely with that concept of respect. You know, all comes under that bigger bracket of respect. And therefore, for me as a teacher, it's very nice to see how the children respond to each other's work, respond to each other's suggestions. So for example, when you have children reading out a poem in class, as the children did this afternoon, the other children listen, are very keen to listen and take on board what is being said, but also are very generous in their applause or their enthusiasm for others. You genuinely quite often see children being happy when other children succeed. For me personally, it's very important to have, as an individual, the key elements of the values education programme within you as a teacher as well, because you have to truly believe what you're saying in order for the children to believe it as well. Because if you don't truly believe what you are teaching, especially with something which is values based, then the children aren't going to buy into it either.
Okay.
time to reflect is actually very, very important, and I think the most important part of the education programme is to give children that opportunity, that time to reflect on their lives as a whole, and to give them the confidence to make the change, or to make the changes that they feel they need to make for their good and for the good of others.
For us, British values, since became compulsory, we started introducing it. It's nothing new. It's nothing new because of the values program we've been doing. It's nothing new, but it's make it more distinctive. So like democracy, we are doing that already. The rule of laws, which fit in really well with the right conduct and non-violence. Same again, the liberty and tolerance. You think about tolerance, that related really closely to love, to peace. So it's nothing new. And in terms of children, the impact I see, or just hearing from parents' feedback, is that they are much calmer, and I think they're also far more self-aware of these values, and also maybe self-accepting. If they did something wrong instantly, they know they got it wrong. So you can see they are quite reflective now. And in the lesson, most of the children, you walk into each class, they are very engaging and calm.